The real rhythm of the city. AM 1210, WDAO Dayton.
Expressions is an audience participation show. The views and opinions heard on Expressions are those of the guests and callers and do not necessarily reflect those of the staff, management, or sponsors.
AM 1210 WDAO, and good morning to you and welcome to another edition of Expressions. I'm Michael Acton, and it is a Tuesday morning where each and every Tuesday from 9 till 10 it's a special feature of Expressions. Health is Wealth. Health is Wealth is brought to you by Natural Foods Plus and the JuiceCaboose. Natural Foods Plus is located at 2901 Philadelphia Drive right here in Dayton, Ohio. Natural Foods Plus is more than a health food store. Natural Foods Plus is the home of the JuiceCaboose and the Better Than Good Rick Poole. Good morning, Rick Poole.
Good morning, Michael Acton.
And how do you do, sir?
I'm doing better than good. Want to thank you for that intro, and I want to thank all the listeners for tuning in to what I like to call the best show on radio. And it's brought to you, as Michael says, by Natural Foods Plus and the JuiceCaboose. We're located at 2901 Philadelphia, right at the corner of Philadelphia and Siebenthaler. We are open 7 days a week, Monday through Fridays. Now listen to this, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. That's 13 wonderful hours to serve you, the people. Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Saturdays, 9 to 7, and Sundays, 11 to 5. New hours on Sunday. Again, we try to look at what your needs are, and we try to address them. Wow, what a beautiful morning it is. And I also want to ask you to, if you would, please, we're having our 20th celebration at Natural Foods Plus and the JuiceCaboose. 20 wonderful years that if it wasn't for you, it wouldn't have happened. And so when you support Natural Foods Plus and the JuiceCaboose, you support this type of programming. And then we're able to support the family here at WDAO. And we're able to then to disseminate and give you a different point of view, a different perspective on a lot of the issues that may be confronting you today, from health and also some social issues sometimes we talk about. And so we're also going to ask you to, I'm trying to reach as many people as possible, so I'm going to ask my many friends on Facebook to please like Natural Foods Plus website, and also Rick L. Poole. I'm sort of like reached my limit on my personal account, so I just want to send that message out. Okay, before we start our day, I like to either start with prayer or a motivational moment or a poem, and this is one that I love and that one of my little nieces gave me, Mia, and sending a lot of love out to Mia. And it's called Living Life. And it says basically, life is not a race, but indeed a journey. Be honest. Work hard. Be choosy. Say thank you. Say I love you. Say great job to someone each day. Go to church. Take time for prayer. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh. Let your handshake mean more than pen and paper. Love your life and what you have been given. It is not an accident. Search for your purpose and do it as best you can. Dreaming does matter. Dreaming does matter. It allows you to become that which you aspire to be. Laugh often and appreciate the little things in life and enjoy them, because some of the best things really are free. Do not worry. Less wrinkles are more becoming. Forgive. It frees the soul. Let me say that again. Forgive. It frees the soul. Take time for yourself. Plan for longevity. Recognize the special people you've been blessed to know. Live for today and enjoy the moment. By Bonnie Moore. the show this morning, we're going to have a few announcements, and then we're going to, this is October, is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So ladies out there, I'm going to share with you some alternatives, some different perspectives, some different approaches. I'm going to ask you to be still and listen and ask yourself what is causing this problem, and I'm going to share some statistics with you. Is there an alternative to mammograms? I'm going to share just a little bit about that. I'm going to share with you 8 institutions that I know, 8 institutions and doctors that have a different approach than conventional medicine. And then we're also going to talk about boosting the immune system, some of the key elements that addresses the immune system. And then also we're going to have a special guest. He's been here before, Mr. Gregory Brown with Europharma. This is a natural company that has a product that is unbelievable. It's called Curcumin. It's turmeric, and we will be discussing that the second half of the show. We've had it, I've talked about it before, and man, there are many, there's hundreds out there now that are using it and getting, the testimonials are unbelievable. There's doctors that's recommending it, and Gregory stopped in the store last week and he shared with me some additional and new clinical studies that the company has and the success with this product, not only for cancer but also with chronic inflammation issues, has been very, very successful. So before I go any further, though, I'd like to share with the listeners out there, this is our disclaimer, and I'd like to let you know that what we do here on Health is Wealth, we discuss what I like to call natural, complementary, integrative approaches to health. And of course, we do it with truth and honesty. I'd like to let you know that I'm not a doctor and that these are my opinions and beliefs. And these opinions and beliefs have basically been formed from me reading, from me studying, from me living this experience, this natural approach to health. So what I try to do here on Health is Wealth, I try to bring you some facts, figures, and some of the opinions from some of the leading national healthcare practitioners. And what I also do, I ask you to use good sense. Again, not common sense, because what's common to one may not be common to another. I used to say common sense, use common sense. But no, we have to use good sense, and we have to question. Question not only what you hear here, but please begin to question your healthcare practitioner. For as Deepak Chopra says, it is only through questioning that we can break this hypnosis of social conditioning. And believe me, we are being programmed and conditioned on many different approaches. What we also do here is we discuss what I like to call mental, spiritual, social, and also emotional health. Learning the importance of how the mind, the body, the spirit, and how emotions are interrelated and interconnected. Learning the importance of how and what we think, how our thoughts contributes to our actions is our behavior, and when we can begin to change the behavior, when we can begin to change the habits of the masses, we can change the course of history. And so I like to say that our mission and purpose is to be non-judgmental. We try not to criticize, or I try not to criticize. I try to provide information and knowledge that I guarantee you, if you use it correctly, I guarantee you it will not only add value to your life, but also to your loved ones. And so finally, I like to say that the information is intended to educate you, the listener, about certain medical, social conditions and certain possible solutions to those conditions. It is not a substitute for examination, diagnosis, and medical care provided by a licensed and qualified health professional. If you believe you or your family or someone you know suffer from the conditions that we may discuss on this program, please see your healthcare provider. Do not attempt to treat yourself, your child, your family, or anyone else without proper medical supervision. That's my disclaimer that I like to open the show with. And again, if you happen to just tune in, this is Rick with Health is Wealth, brought to you every Tuesday by Natural Foods Plus and the Juice Caboose, 2901 Philadelphia, right at the corner of Philadelphia and Siebenthaler. Phone number is 937-279-0994, and naturalfoodsplus.com is our website. Just a few announcements. One is always want to say good morning and sending a lot of love out to the old school moms and dads. Old school moms and dads. They paved the way for what we are experiencing today, and just sending a lot of love out your way. Nothing and nothing is more powerful than love. I want to give condolences to anyone who may have lost a loved one. A friend shared this with me once. He said, Earth, not only he shared this, which is a quote out of the Bible, that earth has no sorrow that heaven cannot heal. Also, again, we're celebrating 20 wonderful years, and these 20 wonderful years are these 20 years. I can't believe it's been that long. But I guess when you're having fun and you're seeing people become responsible, young people, old people, black people, white people, big, small, we are truly on the move, as my theme song says. We are making a change. You are making a change. You are stepping up and becoming responsible for your health. And myself and my staff at Natural Foods Plus, we're seeing it, and that's what gives great joy to us, because we're seeing, as I said before, young, old, black, white, coming in, asking questions, seeking knowledge, information, and then stepping up and being responsible for your health. And that's really what you have to do. If you have never been to Natural Foods Plus and the Juice Caboose, when you walk in, there's a rainbow at the back of the store. Follow the rainbow, and that's where you will find healing and rejuvenation. And I kid you not, at the juice bar is where we have whole food cellular supplements. Not only do we have our famous smoothie, the Emerald Treasure. The Emerald Treasure, it's a meal. It's green because it has all the 3 super green foods, alfalfa, wheatgrass, spirulina. We do not use dairy at the juice bar. We use no soy also at the juice bar, so it's made with almond beverage. We add a banana, we add cashew butter, we add the 3 super greens, and we add agave nectar, and then we add a plant-based protein, which many of you all are aware. But we've been trying to educate you all about the effects of sugar. And so what we did at the Juice Caboose, we created a smoothie, the Emerald Treasure, without agave nectar. Agave nectar is a sweetener that comes from the cactus plant, but it's still a sweetener and it's still sugar. And man, we've been trying to educate you all about the effects of even natural sugar. It's very inflammatory. It causes inflammation. So if you got some chronic issues, we need to ask ourselves why, and you need to begin to ask and look at what you're consuming, because 80% of your immune system is in your gut. And what do you do in your gut is what you put in your mouth. And so again, once we become conscious of what we're eating, once we become conscious of the cause of the issues that we may be addressing, we can then address more than just symptoms. Conventional medicine basically just address symptoms. They don't never ask you what's causing the problem. You go to a doctor, and he's going to recommend this medication, this drug, and that drug is going to have side effects and going to be another drug. I call it the perpetual cycle of pain and misery. and nobody is teaching you how to do that. But if you listen to this program, if you come to Natural Foods Plus, we will teach you how. We will show you how to break that cycle of perpetual cycle of pain and misery, how to get off of that. And there's so many of you all that's beginning to do that, get off that cycle of pain and misery. So some of the things that we have at the Juice Caboose, the whole food cellular supplements, we are very proud to say we are the first in so many different ones. You can get a shot of wheatgrass, E3 Live, Brain On, The Gift. These are whole food cellular supplements to go along with the Emerald Treasure. You can get a shot of ginger, and these are organic, non-GMO products that I'm talking about. And so we have a lot of customers each morning come in and get a shot of ginger, or they get the Emerald Treasure, or they get a shot of the E3 Live, Brain On, or they get a shot of the wheatgrass. Very, very potent, very powerful. So if you're looking for something from a natural standpoint to help you get you on your day without the roller coaster life of going up and down, you come to Natural Foods Plus and the Juice Caboose, and we will help you get started on your day. Okay, again, if you happen to just tune in, this is Rick with Natural Foods Plus and the Juice Caboose, and 457-1210 if you'd like to deviate from our outline. What we're going to do today, you know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And my question to you is, are there any alternatives? Are there any alternatives to the conventional approach? The conventional approach of cutting you, the conventional approach of burning you, the conventional approach of poisoning you. Are there any alternatives to the surgery, to the radiation, to the drugs? And my question is, yes, there are. So this whole month, we're going to specifically bring on, and we're going to look at some conventional and alternative holistic approaches, and I'm going to share with you some of the institutions and doctors and some of their protocols. And what you're going to find interesting is that all of them basically have one thing in common, and that many of them do not believe, you know, in the cutting, in the burning, and in the poisoning of drugs. There are other modalities. Their modalities or approaches may be a little different, but all of them basically are holistic, natural approaches. And so I ask you to be still, and I ask you to ask for direction and ask yourself, you know, why? Why is it that in 1984, when I had cancer, it was 1 out of every 267 people? You see, 267 people, one person out of that came down with cancer. Why is it today that 1 out of every 2 men and 1 out of every 3 women is being diagnosed with cancer? Why? Why is it also that 20 years ago when I first started this program, it was every 30 seconds somebody had a heart attack or a stroke? Why is it today every 20 seconds somebody has a heart attack or a stroke on the continent of the U.S. and Canada? So if you're not stopping and you're not asking yourself, why is this happening? If you're just blindly following the conventional approaches, then something is wrong. You know, I was listening, this was a radio spot the other day I heard on, they were promoting, of course, mammograms. And the commercial said that every 6 seconds, a woman is diagnosed with breast cancer. And when they're promoting this, it says, go get a mammogram. Well, I'm going to give you an alternative to a mammogram, but every 6 seconds a woman is diagnosed with breast cancer. That's 10 per minute. So on this hour show that I'm be on this morning, 600 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer. And conventional medicine will put fear in you. Conventional medicine is going to suggest that you have biopsies. Conventional medicine, if you have breast cancer, is going to mastectomies. Conventional medicine is going to say if cancer is in your genes or in your family, then have both breasts removed. And that's a crime. That's a crime. So ladies out there, are there any alternatives to mammogram? And yes, there is. There's an alternative. It's called thermography, first of all. And thermography, thermography has been around for about 20, 25 years. Thermography has been approved by the FDA. 44% of women with an abnormal thermogram develop breast cancer within 10 years if no preventive steps are taken. Thermography, what it does is basically takes a picture, and from this picture it can determine heat, and from that it's amazing. It may provide the earliest warning. It's individualized breast cancer risk assessment. It's a possible role in breast cancer prevention, and it's a sensitive screening for younger women, and all of this is done with no radiation and no compression. Hopefully at the, not hopefully, well, I haven't connected with Dr. Van Merkel. Dr. Van Merkel is a local doctor that many of you all know provides thermography. I've been talking about thermography for the last 15 years. Thermography has been around. I've had to, in the past, in the early years, recommend either going to Cleveland, and then Columbus had an institution, and then Cincinnati. Blessed to know that Dr. Merkel, I think a couple years ago, has provided thermography. So, ladies, you do have an option. But I challenge you to Google thermography. I challenge you to go to and visit 3000health.com. That's Dr. Merkel's website, and you can learn more about thermography. It is an alternative to mammogram, and you won't hear about that. You know, you'll hear about this is an ad in the paper. Come tour the mobile mammography coach. Premier Health is introducing local women to its new mobile service that provides new 3D mammography technology across the region. If you do further research, people, there are some studies that show that mammograms, just the whole procedure, if I was a lady, I never would do a mammogram, but that's that whole procedure. Some studies are showing that it even may cause, but of course, a lot of you all are going to say I'm loony for even thinking the way I do, but I'm telling you, when you look at the statistics, you better start asking yourself, why is this happening? You know, I'm getting close to the bottom of the hour. I want to share with you now, this is 7 institutions that provide alternative that I've talked about before. One is Hippocrates Health Institute, which is located in West Palm Beach, Florida. An amazing institute. I've been following them for 30 years. Their success rate with any particular type of cancer is unbelievable. Their success rate with chronic metabolic issues is unbelievable. You can go there for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's amazing what they're doing there. Their technology. They have many MDs on staff, and it's an unbelievable institute. Dr. Jerry Tennant, Institute of Integrative Medicine, located in outside of Dallas, is another that you can contact. Dr. Robert J. Marshall, founder and CEO of Premier Research Labs, another institute that addresses any particular type of cancer or chronic metabolic issues. And of course, Dr. Van Merkel and his Back to Health team, local. And number 5, I've been following them for years, Hallelujah Acres and the Reverend George Malcolmus, his institute, and many of them across the country. He has it's a Christian base. He's helped probably over 2 million Christians, but you don't really have to be a Christian to learn. I'm looking at a brochure here. This is looking at the date. Well, this was in 2011. Has a beautiful lady on the cover, and this is from Dr. Hallelujah Acres, Beating Breast Cancer in 90 Days, Audrey Lee's inspiring story. That's one thing I like about Hallelujah Acres. All of these institutions have testimonials that you can actually go and share and read. Dr. Gabriel Cousins Institute, located in Arizona. Again, this is another institute that follows natural, holistic, alternative approaches. And the grandfather of them all is the Gerson Clinic grandfather. Has been around again for quite a few. The pace setter in sharing alternative, holistic approaches. So all of those, what they all have in common is that they don't believe in cutting you, burning you, or poisoning you. You know, we're going to take a short pause for the cause, and when we come back for the second half of the show, we're going to have a gentleman, Greg Brown, with Your Pharma. He's going to discuss one of the most effective supplements that is addressing not only cancer, but also other chronic inflammation issues. So again, this is Rick with Natural Foods Plus and the Juice Caboose. We're going to take a short pause for the cause, and we'll be right back. Michael.
Thank you, sir. This is
move in this community. We have so much to be thankful for and grateful for. Man, we have listeners that listen in, that looks forward to this radio program, and then they're stepping up and taking responsibility, and that's what we have to do.
There's been so many things that's held us down, but now it looks like things are finally coming around.
AM 1210 WDAO, each and every Tuesday from 9 till 10 is a special feature of Expressions. Health is Wealth, brought to you by Natural Foods Plus and the Juice Caboose. And with that said, we'll go right back to Rick Poole.
All righty there. Thank you, Michael, and also thank you, listeners. Thank you for tuning in to what I like to call the best show on radio, and you make it possible because when you support Natural Foods Plus and the Juice Caboose, you support this type of programming, and we're located at 2901 Philadelphia. Our phone number there is 937-279-0994. And we're on the World Wide Web, so we have a lot of listeners now. You can go to WDAOradio.com and click on Listen to WDAO Live. And so we have listeners now all over the states and all over the world. I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to say good morning to a gentleman that's a friend of mine. I've been knowing him for 20 years. Good morning, Greg Brown. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great, Rick. Nice to have you on, or be with you.
Great to have you, and I say that passionately. Greg, you've been with me for 20 years when I first opened the store, and you've represented that many different companies. This gentleman here has been in the health food industry for many years, and he's been on the program many times, and he shared his story before he got involved with his mother. His mother was into it, and he's been a representative of different retail health stores for the last 35 years. You know, now you're with a company, it's called Your Pharma. And Gregory, before I bring you on, we're going to talk about a product, turmeric. And this is a different perspective. This is from Dr. McCullough. And this is a just recently article, and he talks about turmeric. And the story in a glance says that when it comes to fighting cancer, nothing has more evidence-based literature. Nothing has more evidence-based literature supporting its use than this under-the-radar nutrient, which can modulate 700 genes and is universally useful at playing Superman against just about every type of cancer. Now, I want you all to listen to this, people. This is Dr. McCullough, and he is not talking about Europharma. He's talking about just the overall turmeric. And he says when it comes to fighting cancer, nothing has more evidence-based literature supporting its use than this under-the-radar nutrient, which can modulate 700 genes and is universally useful as playing Superman against just about every type of cancer. He goes on and he says curcumin is a bioactive ingredient in turmeric. So the active ingredient in this herb called turmeric is called curcumin. And it has exhibited over 150 potentially therapeutic activities, including anti-inflammatory, anti-microbe activity, and also anti-cancer properties that have been intensely studied. He goes on and he says its benefits are related to its ability to modulate 700 genes positively, more than 160 different physiological pathways, make your cells membranes more orderly, and affect signaling molecules. Gregory, I want you to tell us now. And he's not talking about one particular company. He's just talking about the herb turmeric and the effective ingredient in which we've been knowing about. But I would like for you to share with the listeners out there, the company you represent, how long you've been with that company. And I know that India is one of the first countries that have been using this product probably for the last 5,000 years. And the company that you are with, you've been to India. So give me some insight, and also, you was in the store last week and you shared some additional clinical studies that are just recent. So share with the listeners out there, a little bit about the company and then your experience with this company and your experience with curcumin and turmeric, if you would, please.
Sure. The company is called Europharma, Terry Naturally, and this is by a fellow named Terry Lemeron, he's in his late 70s now, which is actually a bonus because he has such experience bringing in quality products, and he has been in the industry long enough, successful when he owned the company called Euro Enzymatic Therapy that he sold when he was 65. What Terry has been able to do is to allow people to use a product that historically, when Dr. Merkel is speaking about using turmeric, the amount they use is about 1 gram to 1.5 grams every single day. And it's always put in with some kind of fat and used heat. And the idea is that when I got to go to India this last October with Europharma, there were several doctors on board, and there were a couple other medical staff. And I asked the doctors from India, why is it there's no epidemics and plagues and everything going on? They said it's because of this regular, every single day using it. Now, Western food doesn't allow us, a diet doesn't allow us to use it. But when you think about West Africa, there is quite a bit of turmeric used in the cooking. And when people realize that it is extremely effective, like Dr. Merkel was talking about.
McCullough, not Merkel. Yeah.
Dr. McCullough. Well, the idea of when you're using the levels of curcumin that are found in something that's a material like Europharma uses, it allows us to take a capsule rather than eat the food that might prevent so many different things. So Europharma is pretty much unique in the industry for actually putting a lot of the money that they make into actual research. And this is where we are set apart from the majority of the companies literally in the world, because we have a patented product, the curcumin, but what we're doing is we're studying that with lots of different conditions, from what people consider as pain or inflammation, to joint, to cell health, which is considered cancer in some health, pain, the mood. We use the straight curcumin, the BCM95, in a study, a clinical study against Prozac, the generic Prozac. It was equal to generic Prozac. People it blows their mind that the idea that you're using something for pain, but when you think about inflammation, it affects the body in lots of different ways. And in depression, it allows the body to make less brain cells. So when you take the CureMed, you're actually increasing brain cell development. It's called neurogenesis. And we've actually seen that to be effective. We've seen intestinal health. We've seen diabetes. We've seen detoxifying the body. I mean, the idea of cardiovascular health, when you take the CureMed by itself, we did a study against what is the most prescribed drug for rheumatoid arthritis. The generic form the name is called Voltaren. We used the generic form. And in that study, we were looking to see how it would affect walking distance, flexibility of the joints, how far they could actually bend, and overall tolerance of the product without getting sick. But what was more interesting was we actually found, for the heart prevention and stroke prevention, the idea that 2 a day of the 750 reduced the body's level of C-reactive protein, which is just a measurement that physicians use to give you an overall level of your inflammation. And it is extremely beneficial because it does give them an indicator more so than just cholesterol to where your heart condition is. The inflammation is involved in so many different conditions. So when I was in India, I asked the doctors, there were 2 medical doctors there, and I asked them, I said, I've heard a little bit that you don't have as much Alzheimer's. He said, we have very little Alzheimer's. We have low levels of cancer relative to the population, breast and prostate. And I said, I noticed that there's not as much modern amenities for water and other things. He said, yes, we have problems with some contagions, but the diseases are kept in check by the use of the spices. So there's a benefit to taking a product like turmeric in their curries every single day. We, on the other hand, have not adapted that diet, or are we going to, but the idea of taking a curcumin that actually stays in the body and does something on an objective level, even at low levels, that's where we're seeing changes. So when Rick and I when I was in last week, we were talking about cancer, and I mentioned to him that the FDA, we work with Baylor University, we work with the Mayo Clinic, we work with a lot of different universities because, more are coming on because they realize that we are getting results. But what the FDA has allowed us to do is, because we've done a cell culture study, we've done a small mouse study, and we've done some small human studies, when people have colon rectal cancer and the stage 4 patients have essentially, the tumors have become resistant to the chemotherapy. And the main chemotherapy drug they use is called 5-FU. And what happens is, when in these studies, we've seen that when the tumors are dosed with the CureMed, taking it orally, the tumors actually become sensitive again to the chemotherapy. And what we've seen is that the tumors will shrink and you don't have to use as much chemotherapy. So what the FDA is allowing Baylor University to do is they're going to recruit stage 4 colon rectal cancer patients, the worst of the worst. And these are folks who generally have 2 to 6 months left. And so they're trying all kinds of unusual chemotherapy drugs. And with the CureMed, at least they're going to give us the worst and see how it does. We have another study with prostate cancer. We have another study with cervical cancer and possible HPV prevention. So these are the studies that real researchers are looking to see how we can use it by itself, as well as with what Western medicine considers their treatment. And we have used the CureMed in a wide range of human studies the oncologists in the Dallas-Fort Worth area are well aware of Baylor and their research. And the head researcher, Dr. Ajay Goel, is a PhD fellow, very down-to-earth, very not to make outrageous claims of what's going to happen. He likes to see enough documented studies and people in the studies to show that, let's take this on a bigger scale. Other oncologists are coming to him because they are aware that even though his focus is on the colon rectal cancer and seeing how it does with the chemotherapy, they are asking him, will it work in other types of cancers? His answer would be, we don't know yet. We have to try. So he thinks it can. There is a lot of possibilities out there. I'm very excited to be with somebody that at least has the wherewithal to spend his own money, and also the understanding that it doesn't help if you put a junky product out there that people won't take or will take in a small enough amount that won't really do anything, versus when you are seeing changes from diabetics where they're dialysis patients.
Okay, Gregory, I'm gonna cut you off there. I want to listeners out there 457-1210. I know there's hundreds of thousands of you all out there now that's been using this product, and this is probably the second or third time that we've had Gregory on. Dr. Brown is he is aware of the product. And I want to also thank Dr. Brown for being open. You heard me talk so many times about the white coat syndrome and the doctors out there that are arrogant and who won't even listen. But we do have a doctor in our community that does listen. He will call in and he will challenge some of the things that we may, and we appreciate that, and I love him for that. But he's also, beginning to, he has looked at the data that we have provided him, and as the Dr. McCullough says, who's also an MD, there are many, many, many studies out there, people today, that is showing that this product, turmeric curcumin, is very effective. And I want to reiterate, not only is it effective for cancer, but there's a little book that we give away by Dr. Jan McBaron, who's also a MD. We give this book away, and one of the questions when I first read it was, how can this product address on the cover cancer, depression, dementia, digestive disorders, diabetes, pain, arthritis, heart disease, and more? How can it do that? And there's another brochure that we pass out. It calls Curcumin, the all-in-one solution. And as Greg has just pointed out, this product addresses inflammation. So all of those things that I just mentioned, cancer, depression, dementia, pain, arthritis, heart disease, the bottom line that starts it is inflammation. And so I guarantee you, when you begin to use this product, when you begin to look and ask yourself what caused the problem from the start, so that's going back, as I said earlier, looking at the sugar, looking at the meat that you're eating with the the antibiotics that they're putting in the meat. And when you begin to watch the vegetables and the fruit that you're consuming, making sure that they don't have the pesticides and chemicals, when you can become responsible and look at the water that you're drinking and get away from that tap water with fluoride and chloride, these are the things that's causing the problem. So I ask you to be still, think, ask yourself, what's causing this problem? Begin to address that, eliminate the pop, eliminate the sugar, eliminate alcohol, eliminate the cigarettes, and man, then you begin to incorporate some things that we have at the JuiceCaboose, those whole food cellular supplements, and I guarantee you, you incorporate this product, Curcumin, from your pharma, and I guarantee you will begin to see some results in your chronic metabolic issues. If you happen to just tune in, you're listening to Rick with Natural Foods Plus and the JuiceCaboose. We're located at 2901 Philadelphia, right the corner of Philadelphia and Siebenthaler. Phone number there is 937-279-0994. And we also have a guest that called in this morning. His name is Greg Brown. He's a certified nutritionist. He's been in the health food industry about 35 years. He's calling in this morning. He may be on the road, but he lives in Cincinnati, and he's with a company called Europharma. And this company, Europharma, was founded by a gentleman that, when I first opened the store 20 years ago, Terry Lemeron. And Terry Lemeron, listeners out there, was the founder and CEO of a company called Enzymatic Therapy. Terry Lemeron is the person that is responsible. Now listen to this. He is responsible for bringing glucosamine, is that right, Greg? Glucosamine.
That's right.
In the United States.
And most of the standardized extracts that we now consider as, the milk thistle, the salvia, the ginkgo, echinacea, what Europeans have studied for a long time and brought into their regular use, and it's not considered such quackery like a lot of, unfortunately, some Western doctors feel that there's no valid use of any of the products we have, whereas we have seen more and more physicians realize that without the side effects that you get with the pharmaceuticals, you actually get the results. And with the CuraMed, Terry Lemeron has found that when you put the turmeric extract with the 95% extract that you get anywhere, the body retains the curcuminoids at high enough levels, and that's where you gain continued benefit taking it. It's not just like a short bit where you take an aspirin and the pain goes away, or you take other non-steroidal anti-inflammatories and it stops inflammation. We're actually helping to heal the body in a lot of ways.
Now you just described and I think this is what's unique about Europharma. You described, and I want you to do that. 457-1210, listeners out there, if you have a question for Greg, feel free to call. But you just described. So what makes Europharma Curamin? And you say Curamin, and then you say CuraMed.
Sure, sorry about that.
But I want you to explain to the listeners, because when you come in to Natural Foods Plus, we have an end cap right there that smacks you in the face when you come in, and we give away free books and we give away bags, and we got this product there that's on sale, 15% off, and man, it can be kind of confusing, because you have so many. So take the time and explain to the listeners out there about some of the product and why there's a difference, and what your recommendation is for if you got a headache, or if you have. What's your recommendation?
We started out when we realized that people would be much more aware of a product and willing to take it if it got results for something they would feel right away, and that would be pain. So we introduced a product called CuraMin, which has the patented Boswellia, the patented curcumin. It has DLPA, which is amino acid, and it has nattokinase. And these four ingredients, they were called CuraMin. And that was very, very effective, and still is to this day, for pain. And then we introduced the straight product called CuraMed. And the CuraMed is the patented form of curcumin that we are using by itself for some people who don't have pain as the overall, first thing they think about. They're in pain.
Okay. I want you to hold there, because I want the listeners to understand. So, first of all, when you said patented, you mentioned 4, 5, 6 different things as patented.
Yep.
That means that no other company. that's something that was very unique and different that Europharma came up with. Is that correct?
Well, Europharma is the North American distributor for this company called Arjuna out of India.
Okay.
And
So we have CuraMin, and that CuraMin has 4 products in it that basically helps it to absorb and get into the.
No, that one is because that one is for pain. The CuraMed, which is part of the CuraMin, has the patented curcumin that stays in the body. In the CuraMin, we've just tried to make people aware that pain and min, I realize it's not the same, but the idea was the Curamin works extremely well for pain.
Okay.
And once people get their pain managed, so it's not driving them nuts all the time, then you can take the Curamed, which addresses more of the full inflammatory issues. So whether it be heart or your brain, the Curamed is going to, or other joints. The Curamin lengthens the time that some of your own neurotransmitters that keep you out of pain, the Curamin lengthens them, and that's what we've seen with some of the studies. Well, we have a study that we did against Celebrex, and we didn't use Curamin because we actually just wanted to limit, as we only had 2 compounds. We had the patented buzz. Further, they could flex more. They didn't have the fallout. They didn't have the stomach issues. There are real benefits to taking something more than just a few weeks. And in the studies that we've done, they're generally within 8 weeks to 12 weeks. Celebrex is 12 weeks. The Voltaren for rheumatoid arthritis, I believe that's 12 weeks also.
Okay, what about Oxycontin, some of those very painful, some of those strong narcotic almost drugs?
I have a personal case, and obviously, I have a friend who is...
Okay, we only have a few minutes here. I don't want you going that test, but it does address...
It does. She took high levels 8 a day, and for 6 weeks, she wanted to get off it. That's the biggest thing. If you want to get off it, there are things you can do, but if you're going to be I'm not going to make any comments.
Are there any side effects from any of the studies that you know of from taking Curamin or Curamed?
No, and what I've told people is as we age, we don't digest things as well, and I tell people because it's a fat-soluble compound, you want to take a few bites of your food, then take your Curamed or Curamin. If you have any stomach issues, you can take the Curamin anytime because when you have a headache or pain, it's not worried whether you have food in your stomach, and it does work.
And you also have something for PM. You have Curamin that you can take at night. So if you have pain and you can't sleep, you have a product that you can take at night, correct?
Correct. It's got the melatonin with the Curamin with it, and we've seen a lot of people who use that. We actually have another formula that we just introduced that has the form of magnesium that is the best absorbed, and then we have a form of B6, which the body doesn't have to convert. And when we put that with our Curamin formula, we're using it for headaches because there's a lot of association with low levels of magnesium and headaches. And we have seen some, it's a very beginning product, so we'll see how that goes. But we like doing the studies on the smallest number of ingredients so that other researchers can replicate it. When we have certain products that we tweak, researchers like to see if this did this, then we did this, and it happens, you get a better outcome. There's less variability.
Okay. Listeners out there, we've been speaking with Greg Brown. He's a certified nutritionist. He's has about 35 years of experience in this industry. He's with a company called Europharma. You can go to Europharma's website, which is www.europharmausa.com. Greg Brown's email is gBrown004@cinci.rr.com. If you can get this information at Natural Foods Plus. But Gregory, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to come and share with our listeners. I'd like to have this habit maybe the first Tuesday of each month. You can come and share and give us an update. I'd like to try to get Terry Lemeron on also. But again, we want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to come and share with our not only our community but the world. And again, thank you. Listeners out there, I want to thank you for tuning in to what I like to call the best show on radio, brought to you by Natural Foods Plus and the Juice Caboose. We're located 2901 Philadelphia, right at the corner of Philadelphia and Siebenthaler. We're open 7 days a week, Monday through Fridays, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., Saturdays 9 to 7, and Sundays 12 to 5. And again, I say keep on keeping on. I say stay positive, think positive. Surround yourself with positive, principle-centered people. Look, listen, and read positive things. Talk to yourself in the positive. Develop that plan, work your plan, believe, and it will happen. Thank you for joining us this morning.
The top U.S. military commander in Afghanistan is testing.